event, I was actually more excited for the co-main event than the main event. Even as it was happening, I was just like, these girls, not for nothing, dude, both of them, both Rose and Joanna, they have an it factor about them. They have a quality to them. They walk down to the octagon. It feels special. It feels like it's a big show. And it only happens with a few people. There's a few people, both men and female, that sort of have that thing. Joanna's entrance was fucking incredible. Whatever song she chose was fucking dope. She comes out and she's just got this intensity to her that's great. And then Rose, her song fucking blew. Whatever she came out to was horseshit. I don't know what the hell that was. But she's still, incredible, just like intensity to her stare. And it felt like it should have been the main event. I tweeted that out before the show. I feel like they should have, out of respect to those girls, made that the main event of the night.
Why?
Because
What do you mean out of respect? The fucking co-main event.
Because it's not a real 155-pound title. It's not real. What do you want me to say? It's bullshit. Paper title. Paper champion.
Do I have to spell it out to you, Lewis? You know why that was the fucking main event.
Paper champion.
Come on, Lewis. Play the game. Don't
Paper
make
champion.
me say it. Don't make me say it.
Say it. I don't give a shit.
You say it.
You say it.
Are you going to put fucking Rose and Joanna at the main event of Khabib? Right? A fucking badass motherfucker that's wrestling bears at 7 years old. And let me just state this fact. I don't know if you know this, but he's a man.
I knew you were going to
say
say
better
it.
than women.
Look,
But that co-main event fight, by the way, I'm having fun.
Of course you are.
That co-main event fight was insane. I think that was one of the best women's mixed martial arts fights I've ever seen.
Agreed.
Both of them are stars, as you say. Joanna certainly does have the it factor. I spoke about this going into it, I think maybe a while ago on here. The only thing I didn't like about Joanna, listen, she lost that first fight fair and square. She really did. Rose landed some good shots and put her out of there. Simple as that. But she blamed it on her nutritionist. Now, I'm sure Joanna's not a liar. I'm sure she did have a terrible weight cut. I'm sure there was problems going into that fight due to a shitty weight cut and due to crappy weight management leading up to it. But that said, these things happen. You can't use that as an excuse for why you lost the fight. Ultimately, the person that's in charge of this whole thing, if I'm getting ready for a fight, I've got a boxing coach, kickboxing coach, wrestling coach, nutritionist, strength and conditioning coach, I also have a wife that's on my fucking case, But ultimately, I'm in charge of it all. I'm in charge of it all. And if someone's not doing something right, it's up to me to be man enough to say, you know what? Nah, bullshit. Eat this, eat that. Well, hold on. I got on the scale this morning and I'm heavy. So whatever I'm eating isn't working. So, and it's not her first rodeo. So the fact she was blaming it on her nutritionist, I didn't like. As I say, I'm sure there was issues, but she ultimately, the individual is the responsible party in anything. So I didn't like that. And for me, the lack of acceptance for why she lost that fight, I thought would give her, pardon me, too much coffee. I thought that would give her problems in the rematch. You've got to accept that, hold on. I was beaten by the better fighter that night. It's as simple as that. I was beaten by the better fighter. And if you don't accept that and you don't make some changes, that can give you problems. Now, of course, Joanna did fantastic at the weekend. She fought a great fight. Round one, Rose, it looked like it was going to go like the first one. Rose was landing with some good shots. Round two, same again. But then Joanna started finding a groove. She started landing some beautiful leg kicks. What Rose was doing, she's got very long legs and she has a very, very wide stance. So because her stance is so wide, Joanna was throwing combinations, and rather than using her feet and pushing away, Rose was keeping a wide base and just using head movement, keeping her feet there, and then she was still in range to land strikes. You know what I mean? She did a fantastic job of that. And Joanna recognized this and started chopping away on that lead leg. And by the end of the fight, Rose's lead leg, it looked very, very painful. She's certainly going to be limping around this morning, that's for sure. 3-4. I think they were Rose's. It was all to play for in round 5. I think she got the takedown at the end of it. Listen, it was a pretty close fight, but I for sure had it 3 rounds to 2. Rose Namajunas. At the end of the fight, Jan Jacek was trying to claim the fight. She jumped upon the ring, the cage, had her hands in the air. She was acting like she'd won the fight. And a few people were saying to me, why is she doing that? And I said, well, that's what coaches tell you to do. They tell you to get the hands in the air. Carry yourself like you've won. Get your fucking hands in the air. Because if you don't believe you won the fight, how the fuck are you supposed to... How a judge is supposed to believe that you won the fight? You know what I mean? And it wasn't like it was a landslide. It wasn't a dominant victory. Rose clearly won on the scorecards, if you ask me. But still, you know, it wasn't like a total shutout for Joanna. So, you know, you do have to carry yourself like you are still a winner. Of course, you didn't win. Congratulations to Rose.
I'm looking at the, you know, the CompuStrike, I guess, which is something that, or I guess it's Fight Metric, which is something that Joanna had posted. And yeah, she's out striking around, but you know, I got to be honest with you, because I was watching the fight, and I said right when the fight ended, I gave Rose rounds 1, 2, 4, and 5, and round 3, Joanna came out and she seemed to be re-energized. Same thing with round 4. She was like fucking she was looking even like more warmed up and faster than she looked earlier in the fight. And Rose seemed to slow down a little bit, but it didn't change the fact that Rose kept on fucking nailing her in the face with like a cross and a hook, just kept on hitting her and hitting her hard. And I don't know, man, I don't know how you feel about it, but yes, she, you know, Joanna landed more, but leg kicks and body shots, in my opinion, don't count as much as somebody getting punched square in the face. What do you want me to say? In my opinion, if you punch somebody in the face, that's 2 or 3 times as valuable as landing a leg kick on somebody, at least. So I think that was the major difference.
Absolutely. If there's a punch that nearly knocks somebody out, I'd say that scores more than 3 jabs to the body. You know what I mean? If you nearly get knocked out. And I think ultimately that was the tail, because I'm sure those CompuStrikes or significant strikes or whatever the fuck it's called, I'm sure they are accurate. You know, these people that make these stats, they know what they're doing. So on paper, Jan Jacek landed more, but the more effective, the more damaging strikes certainly came from Rose. Rose had the octagon control as well.
Yeah.
And they always say, the old expression is, you have to beat the champion. Now, that doesn't really stand up the way they score it, because if you score it for the other person, even if they're close, on the scorecards, Jan Jacek would have won. In the old school way, they said, nah, you got to really beat the champion. You can't scrape by. So that doesn't really come into effect. But listen, Rose landed the better shots. She looked like she was controlling it. Jan Jacek was physically marked up at the end. She was having problems with her eyes. She couldn't really see out of it. Listen, it was a great fight. It really was. Congratulations to both of them. Rose Namajunas is a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
Jan Jacek, she was awesome. She was super fast. She was in the fight. She certainly did better than last time. But it wasn't her night, you know. Yeah. She's still going to have a great career, you know. And who knows? Rose might get beaten of somebody else. Then Jan Jacek can come back and beat that person and become champion again. Yeah. So it's not the end of the road for Jan Jacek, but I don't see her beating Rose anytime soon.
Yeah, and you know, to be honest with you, the most impressive feat of all of it is, you know, Rose isn't this, you know, she's an, you know, unbelievable fighter, but she's not known as being this murderer kickboxer that, oh my God, nobody wants to stand there and strike with her. You know, I think some of her most impressive wins have been by the way of submission. You remember that flying armbar back in Invicta back in the day? Like a really well-rounded fighter.
I don't watch Invicta.
Yeah. Well, it was a highlight. I didn't fucking watch it live.
Oh, really?
Am I an asshole?
Yeah. Listen, Rose is great, and she's just getting better and better and better. I'm just looking at some headlines there, seeing if there's anything else worth talking about. I mean, to be honest, the fights of the weekend were great. I mean, because of what happened, and there was a lot of fights that got cancelled. 4 fights in total got cancelled because of the whole Conor McGregor controversy. So we saw some fighters that would have been on the Fight Pass prelims bulked up to even the main card. There was a guy, did you see Zabit Magomedsharipov?
Wow.
You see that guy?
Oh, God bless you.
Zabit Magomedsharipov.
I came in during that fight. That was the 3rd fight on the card. I ended up coming in to the arena during that fight. So
he was fighting Kyle Bochniak, right? Now, here's the thing, as I say, I think that fight was originally on the Fight Pass prelims. Now, if the people at Fox are listening or the UFC, I might get a little fucking lecture here. But here's generally what happens. When you're working for Fox and you got to be the analyst at the weekend, you know, you look at the fight card, main event, yeah, I know that guy. You watch a few of the last fights, you take some notes, yada, 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 co-main event, so on and so forth. You work your way down. When you look at the Fight Pass prelims, you think, well, they're not even on TV, so I'm not going to study them. And, of course, I've never even heard of them, but still it doesn't matter because they're on the Fight Pass prelims. Last fucking minute, Fight Pass prelims, guys, get thrown onto the main card, And I'm like, holy shit, who the fuck is Zabit Magomedsharipov? Anyway, turns out Zabit Magomedsharipov is a bad motherfucker. I heard from Daniel Cormier last week that Chris Weidman claims that he's the best mixed martial artist on the planet. So
Whoa.
high praise indeed. But yeah, man, he's certainly got a bright future ahead of him. That's for sure.
Yeah, this was the dude who was doing like crazy shit in the cage, right?
But did you see his opponent, Kyle Bogniak? He was, listen, he was outmatched. He was getting his ass kicked to a certain degree, but he didn't give a fuck. He was just walking through, sticking out his tongue, getting cracked in the face. The last 10 seconds of that round 3 was just awesome. He walked up, he stuck his tongue out at him, said, come on, got hit in the face, and they just stood there and smacked the fuck out of each other. It was very, very entertaining, to say the least.
Yeah. There's a vibe in the Northeast. If you ever go to an event in Jersey, New York, Boston,